And hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the front lines. We're in the battle. I'm here with my co-host.
Tank?
A little off track here, but we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank?
So far, so good. You know, been quite the crazy productive day, actually. We had the New York Assembly meeting last night, and you know, we were went through some documents and noticed some things we got to change a little bit. So the Assembly is going to meet again on Monday to basically do a reading of the documents and get everybody on the same page with that, so that we don't make any fatal errors. But everybody is very much in line with moving forward, in a fashion that's respectful to one another, and make sure we're considerate of everybody involved, and with a sense of urgency, right? So we can actually get something done. So, but we have to get these documents done, before we can really call a grand jury. So we've all agreed to, voted into call a grand jury, but it's contingent upon the paperwork being done. So working on that, and Kim, I asked Kim if the Universal Council was able to remove the controllers, and she said no, that their intervention was ineffective. And but what was good about it is that at least now they know they saw it, because they actually believed the reason why this is my interpretation, but she thought that the reason why the restoration plan had not begun, right, humanity actually started to receive funds, was Kim's fault, is what they thought. So they came down and then they saw when they tried to intervene themselves because they're all still convinced that Marduk is still alive. They won't cooperate with anyone, and so that's going on. So I'm sure there's more to that plan that I'm just not privy to at this point. I'm sure there's more going on, and I know that Thomas did mention that the option for them to be returned to source because the darkness of their energy had overtaken the light too much and they needed to be rebalanced was on the table. And I'm a fan of that option. So we'll see what happens there.
So why do they think that Marduk is still coming back? That's the question.
Well, I think because they're programmed just like all of us are programmed, and they had many years of dealing with that, where they saw him resurrect from the dead. So that's what I would guess.
What about now? They also have been constructing a god in AI, right? So they've been looking at God as AI. At least the tech people have, right? And actually in some of the TV series that are out, they're all talking about this. So Westworld, for example, right? There's an AI god again in this, right? In the battle between the bots and humanity is going on, and so it seems as though maybe they just have another god. Maybe it's not Marduk that they're waiting for. Just this possibility, but what they're not going to give up. I don't think. I think they're going to just continue their ways, as they don't know any other way. They've been doing this their whole life, right? They've been raised up by other families, not by their parents, and tortured when they were kids. They don't know how to act any other way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They there's no. I don't see there being another option besides really repurposing who they are or what they're doing, right? There's nothing really. They're on this path, right? And it's not gonna. They're not gonna break anything they're doing. Just because we're here, and they could care less. It would seem like to me that any contribution we may have or potentially may have or damage they're doing.
They'll take completely the opposite viewpoint. It's like, because it's like, why are they why are they trying to take this from us? This is ours. It's all about their power, their money, their stuff. Kim stole the money from us. So
right.
They're just not. They don't want to cooperate.
No, yeah. I mean, so I don't know. It's quite the challenge, to say the least. It's a
well, Trump did sign, the next, stimulus bundle, 350 billion, and they also said that there was a lot of this money that was stolen by banks. For example, you put a check in there, right, for your, and the bank ends up using it for all the fees that they've charged you for overdrawing your account. Right.
Right.
So it's like, and suddenly those fees become so monstrous, right? I mean that and they just multiply, right? So all of a sudden you owe $2,000 in fees.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
so
the whole thing.
Now, has Kim said anything about this money coming through? Is it Kim putting this money in, or is this super notes?
I just don't know. There's indicators that could imply both that I didn't get from Kim, but as far as Kim said, what she said, that they've been taking money from the Social Security, right? So they pulled out $72 million from one thing, and then they tried to take out money from something else, and then we know that there was $100,000, $10,000 loans that suddenly got siphoned off, disappeared instantly, right? So they obviously didn't process those in 3 days, right? So what happened,
I know Trump
But
said.
as far as
Trump's,
can bring money in,
I know Trump said that they had just stopped sending, to certain ones. They stopped things. He kind of said it in a way as like, we stopped that. We stopped sending. So it seemed like that there was something else to the story that he was saying. He's always he's kind of like putting information out there for those that can hear and see it, right? That it's not picked up by everybody. So even like he's talking about the this cure by light, right? There's ways of putting light, into your body from the outside in or from the inside out. He kind of left it kind of hanging there. Like there's other ways to get light into your body other than from the outside. And well, okay, how do you do that? Sounds pretty sourceful.
Yeah, resourceful. Yeah. It all sounds amazing. And I really want all that to be true. I want everything that he's saying to actually come to pass. But I just haven't. It's like at some point, sometimes I feel like I'm just being short-sighted about this stuff that I feel like put up or shut up, right? But it's like there's all these. Look, tonight we did a hour-long. 52 minutes. I think it was 52 minutes with Sherry Edwards. She has been doing nonstop since this thing started. Nonstop research. She's breaking down the molecules, how it works, what's going on, how to change it, how to protect yourself against this, and how to undo vaccines. That 50 minutes with Sherry Edwards is got to be one of the most dynamic interviews I've ever done. It was amazing, right? And so we're going to put that out today. We tried to go live. They wouldn't let it go live. But I'm like, if you listen to what she's saying, she's talking about, look, you can change the entire, your health completely. Everyone can take responsibility for their own health. Never have to go back to deal with these, them poisoning you again. She even, said, look, even if they try to vaccinate you and they force vaccination, she's like, get the vaccine. We'll tell you how to do it. I'm like, it's amazing. It's incredible. What is possible is absolutely incredible. If we're just, allowed to, maintain some kind of freedom, right? So then you've got the other side, and they're, I don't know who the controllers are, generic. Specifically. I don't know if that's real people. I don't know if that's dinosaurs. I don't know, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know what that means. It's like, how is there anything left? I feel like Kim has destroyed the destroyer. She took out Marduk. It's like, there's no one there left, right? It's just these Rothschild and Black Sun group, right? That still think that they have the right to do whatever they want. They still think that their characters are rising back from the dead. But I hope the things that Trump is talking about are real because Tommy mentioned this last night that allegedly look, Tommy doesn't see these things unless they're true, by the way. But they were having this big ceremony, right? And it was supposed to be Putin and Macron and Trump. And Trump was supposed to be anointed as the new leader of the New World Order. And he wasn't there, so they made Macron. Right? So is that good that Trump wasn't there because he's not going to be part of it? Or is it, why? If you were to look at this from a people standpoint, Macron, France has been in, a nonstop protest for the past year straight, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they're rewarding bad behavior. But then it's like, so is it good behavior that Trump was like, I won't be a part of it? And why was his name on the ballot in the first place? You know,
Right.
was it them or was it Trump? Like, cause I don't know. I didn't get a chance to
Well,
actually listen to what he talked.
it could have been, kind of like it's obvious that Trump has, let's just say has the ability to communicate right with these groups, right, and he knows what's been going on, and maybe that they were trying to entice him. Hey, throw on the mantle of the leader of the world.
You'll be the boss, right? Like,
yeah.
I think it's cool being the president. Imagine if you were the head of the order, right?
Yeah, but just think about this: Trump's already did it without them. He's leading 184 countries, as a general in a battle against the invisible enemy. Right. So why the enemy comes up and says, "Hey, we'll make you the leader." So it's like, does he really need it? No. So I don't think that there's going to be
It's incredible.
I have not heard Tommy's last broadcast. I queued it up, but I fell asleep. I got about 3 hours sleep last night. I don't know what it is, but this is ongoing now, where it's like I'm not able to sleep learn my normal, like midnight 1 a.m. To 6 7 a.m. So now I'm sleeping at 3 or 4 in the morning and still getting up at 7, 8.
Right.
So there's something there. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on right now. So what is it that is the next on the agenda, right? Because we see these things all seem to be lining up. Everything's ready to move forward. Trump is opening up the country. The press is trying to suppress the cure, right? And it's like when this all starts rolling, right? It's like everything is still, the negative stuff is still like pushing, like that. They're still trying to push this, and it's kind of like coming to a tipping point, and we haven't hit the tipping point yet. I mean, it is like right now, right? That tipping point is right now, but relatively, when you look back over years of time and getting here, let's just say Trump's presidency, the tipping point is like, over a week's period, a month's period, 3 months, that's the tipping point. We're up at this, at the crest of this, right? How long are we going to be floating along until we start heading down the other way and moving our agenda to get rid of all of this negative space. Right now I've been putting up in the beginning of the show these warnings, and one of the warnings says, stay away from negative people, they have a problem for every solution.
Okay.
I put up the fair use, I put up like the content warning, and I put up the negative people warning. But we need we need to have a point at which everything just shifts. We know that they're on the run. When the press is like removed from the briefings, because they're all traitors, right? And now they brings in all the alternative media. I think he should probably start like having two press conferences. One's for the regular press conference that they normally have, and then one for the alternative press, as a comparison.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, something's got to give. I mean, like, it comes down to, like, you always want, like, you want there to be good guys, right? Like, you just want good people doing stuff, like, obviously, right? But, man, some days it's kind of feels almost like a pipe dream some days, It's like, where are our good guys here, Like, where are the guys, like, holding the line, you know what I mean? Just, And I feel like Trump is he's one of our he's one of the guys who really are like, man, we hope it's you. We hope it's you. I'm cheering for you. I want Trump to be everything that it's like a good movie. It's like you want the billing to really pan out.
Yeah, you want the hero to be the hero. You don't want him to become the
Yeah.
anti-hero. It's like, and I really don't see that. I know that there's, the conversation out there, like we're just talking about, what side is Trump really on? Is he really part of the cabal? I mean, that's been there, since the beginning. But I've never seen any of his actions do anything other than hurt the cabal, right? And move past them. You can now say, well, he's just on the other faction side right now. That's the current narrative, right? he's on the Black Sun side, or he's on the Kennedy Black Sun side, and they're just trying to replace same out with the old boss and new boss the same as the old boss is what Thomas has been saying, and I just don't see it. I just don't. I don't feel it. I never did feel it that way. I mean, the very beginning, when Trump, ran for president, I was just, cautious, right? I mean, I felt in general always good feeling about Trump, always, as I didn't watch, The Apprentice very much. I mean, I saw, a few episodes. I saw him say "You're fired," and it's all great stuff, right? But I saw as he, built his businesses, and I, heard his story, so I knew about him, and I said always felt good about him. Right? And I said, "Oh, that's sad that he's, having problems financially, but he got out of it." And I find it funny when people say, "Well, he got bailed out by the Rothschilds." I said, "Well, who else is he going to get bailed out by? Well, they don't know the banks."
Right.
You have to get money from the Rothschilds. That's who makes the money. It prints it.
Right.
They got the printing presses. So that you got to make a deal with them. So, I could never fault him for those things, right? And even running a casino or any of the other stuff. I mean that's kind of fringe stuff, right? Not everyone goes out and runs and makes a casino. There's a lot of people that are, kind of upset about gambling in general, right? That stay away. It's a tool of the devil and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So that's a kind of a fringe business to be in. So,
Sure.
but in all of that, I never felt that Trump was bad. I always kind of had a good feeling about him. Counter
Sure.
to that, the complete opposite would be Bill Gates.
Of course.
From the beginning
Yeah.
of time, I'm talking like back in the early '80s, right? This guy, bad news, bad news, evil incarnate. I was not. I didn't give him benefit of the doubt or anything. No, this guy's a bad guy. And everyone's looking at it as a hero, and I go, no, not a hero. I knew in the beginning that he stole DOS. I was kept track of that from the very beginning. It's like, why is this guy still here? That the guy that was suing him for stealing DOS, this court case was just about to get to. It's like when Windows, what version of Windows was coming out. This is during the Clinton administration. Finally got getting to court. The whole case disappeared from the court system. Gone.
Really? I did not know that.
The guy had to start over to sue Microsoft.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
screwed him royally. The guy, the guy should own Microsoft, right? There should be no Microsoft.
Sure.
So but anyway, so like I said, between early feelings about one group over another. Steve Jobs, that's a whole other story. I always respected Jobs. I loved his product. Always felt he was trying to do the best product he can. But yeah, he was a king, and he had to do it his way. I have no problem with that. But but there was a whole other side to the story that was never told. Right, this was the Apple versus Microsoft story, and it wasn't true. That's also a narrative. There's a whole other line, a whole other aspect of technology that actually probably had a bigger impact than either of the other two. And that's Amiga computer system that was owned by Commodore, bought by Commodore out of a garage. So this constant, where they're picking they're controlling the narrative, shapes everything, right, for what people see as reality. But there's whole other aspects of it that are not done because the press doesn't report it. People don't know. Same thing that's happening right now. Trump is leaking out, these little drips about, hydrochloroquine, for this being, a cure. Well, you got to have it with zinc, you got to have it with vitamin D, and you got to have it with vitamin C, and you have to have it with the antibiotic. So this is this narrative that they keep pushing is like, now it's like, oh, it's bad for you, no effect, bad effect. But it's all breaking down. Nobody believes them. Well, some people do.
It's kind of crazy, everything you said. I mean, it's like, this is just it's like when it's to such a point where nobody can get honest information, right? From the, from like, what is the truth? I mean, so you mean to tell me either my president is promoting a product that is no good, or we're all, or the other side is literally sabotaging our progress. I mean, these are earth-shattering revelation when you really think about it. Like, wait, this is where we live? Because that is the truth, right? I mean, like, they're just discussing things on a regular basis that are, they affect everyone's life, and they don't care if it's true or not. That's a tragedy. That's their job. That's their sole purpose, right?
Yeah. So we're talking. This is a perfect time to bring this up. So Tucker Carlson called out Chris Cuomo from CNN, right? Because Chris Cuomo went into his bunker in his basement of his house and said, "Okay, I'm quarantined. I've tested positive for coronavirus." So he goes down there and he says, everyone, you got to stay home. Don't go out. Stay home. Don't go out. Right? So he's chastising the public, right? The narrative. He's given that narrative. You got to stay home. You got to stay home. So then it was made apparent through another report that Tucker did. It said that he basically got into a confrontation with a bicyclist, called him some names and all this kind of other stuff, right? And then so that means he broke quarantine. He wasn't staying at home, so he lied, right? What else is new, right? And so Tucker asked, hey, if you're the bicyclist that had the confrontation with Chris Cuomo, yeah, I'd like to bring you on. Well, he showed up, and there's now he's now talking about it, right? And they had an interview. So they're used to lying, right? That's just part of who they are, right? Doesn't matter. What was?
I think they're used to lying, but they're used to getting away with it. That's the key.
Yeah, they're used to getting away with it.
They're used to.
Nobody
challenges me about this, right?
Yeah, the woman with Morning Joe there, right? Now Joe is going nuts, right? he's losing it big time, right? He's like, over the top with his emotions pouring out on, like I think he's gonna have a nervous breakdown on screen. But Berninsky, she was caught saying that one time, we're the ones that basically tell them what to think. Right?
Yeah, right.
Right? So that's their attitude. They tell us
Yeah, it's
what
like,
to
hey,
think.
nobody tells you what to think except for us, right?
Right. So that's their whole take. That they're the ones that are the controllers. They're the masters. They're the house slaves.
The house slaves, right? I mean,
Right. So bringing that around and put best for the ones that are listening in right now, right? Yeah, they're really the house slaves. So stop being slaves. Stop with your narrative, mill, and get with the program. Your time is over. Time to start learning how to garden or something, because you're not going to be, telling people what to think anymore. You're not going to be the one stopping the flow of information or stopping the money from going back and forth. So time to move on. Maybe you need to return to source.
What I really hope, though, what I really do hope is that people realize that, just because you're not into politics, just because maybe you don't watch the news that much, that's why the accurate reporting on a regular basis is so important, right? I mean, it's really a much bigger deal now, don't you think? When you realize that, that we can, if you're only getting sound bites, you ought to really make sure that sound bite is accurate, right? Because they're constantly putting things out that you're basing your life around, right?
Yep.
It's like, that's a scary reality when you think about it. It's like, whoa, maybe I should take this more seriously. Maybe I should actually get involved,
Well, it's just like when Trump brought up hydrochloroquine in the very beginning, right? They pounded on him saying against it, right? What happens when the FDA says, okay, it's now approved, as a cure? Yeah, with zinc and with vitamin C and with the with antibiotic. So with all of that, then you come back and what are they going to say? They say, "Oh, well, you were right." No, they're not going to say that, right? They're not going to basically change what they're doing. They're going to find the next thing to go. They're already starting the next impeachment, right? Right. They're already gearing up. We've got to have our next thing because this is coming to an end soon. They're reopening. They're going to announce the cure. We got to have something quick. So Nancy has started the next impeachment about how we handle the coronavirus,
which is unbelievable. It's not even done yet, and really, their numbers predicted 2 million deaths. You think President Trump was a freaking genius?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I think
he was on top of it. They're the ones that. I mean, what I don't understand is, when are they going to catch on that by indicting him? I mean, actually, when are we going to catch on that by their accusations, they're just making themselves look terrible? We should be the ones going, what? Get the hell out of office right now. How are you even allowed to speak?
Yeah.
Go back to your crypt, and do whatever it is that you do there.
Go back to your crypt. Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, how many of them actually have a crypt?
Listen, Nancy Pelosi is every bit as creepy as the original Crypt Keeper back in the day from Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah.
She is just, it's like, what do you, like the utter indifference. I'll tell you, we got this report today, and I'm going to put this on the same thing with Sherry Edwards because she blanked out for a little while, but we got this report today from this nurse who came up with a whole group of nurses, right, to help out in New York, right? And so she goes into the hospital, right? Now they got standards down there that they're used to, right? And they're there, so everybody that comes in, no matter where it is, if they have any respiratory issue, they are labeled corona, right? It's corona, that's the issue, right? So now everybody that comes in, they get labeled corona, right? So now they sit down with a doctor, and the doctor, basically goes through the forms, right? Because he has to get their consent. That, if you have coronavirus, we'll end up putting you on a ventilator, right? So now you could get oxygen, and then there's the vents. Right now, people for the most part on oxygen are doing fine, right?
Yeah.
Because what's happening is there's increased this protein. So if this might not be exactly right, but something to the effect of like basically the hemoglobin in the blood isn't able to upload the oxygen appropriately because the protein is too big, which is way oversimplified, but something to the effect of the oxygen failure, right? But so you have some phenomenon like this, right? So now the ventilators basically work for your lungs, right? Like they're putting pressure on your lungs.
Yeah, they're
not helping.
Yeah, they're not. No, the ventilators are for when your muscle of your lung is too tired to actually operate. Or that's what it's for.
Right. So basically, you have these people. They come in and they're scared, right? They're scared, so they consent to being put on a ventilator, right? So they consent, and then they give them a sedative, an antibiotic, and then they put them on a ventilator. And if they code, right, like they flatline, they will not even give them compressions, right? Because they're basically in a do not resuscitate mode. So they're just letting people get on a ventilator and be basically pushed to their death.
Yeah.
And she said this was young people, old people. I mean, it was all types of people, right?
Yeah.
And she said, and the whole staff is like playing around. I mean, we've seen like they're making TikTok videos and playing games and all types of stuff, right? And basically, they're not taking it. They're not. It doesn't appear, anyways, that they're taking it seriously. Now, this is on one report, right, from this one woman who wants this to get out to President Trump. So feel free to pass it on to the president, right? I would have to believe that he probably knows, right? But she wants to get to the president. Now, I'm going to tell you that I can back up at least elements of what is being reported there. I have people who went to the hospitals up in the Bronx, right, in New York, and they were telling me it is a mess. Now, here's the other thing they said. There was like all these nurses that came up, right, and they were just sitting in the hotel. And these nurses were not even being called on to be used, right? They were intentionally keeping the hospital short-staffed so that it was even more chaotic, right? And people would get neglected. Now, that's the reports that I got, too, directly from patients who actually gone there, right? Now, and then I also myself went to the hospitals to see. I could see there was people outside, all types of people. They were joking and laughing, and wasn't any stress or fear in them, right? They were playing around, playing games, like wearing all their gear, right? All this gear that De Blasio's like, we need surgical gowns, we need them. It's like, what are you talking about? Why is that an urgent concern in any way, right? So, and then basically and then the other thing you said is that you have people that have been cleared of corona, with people that are confirmed to have corona, and they're staying in rooms right next door to each other. And she said that as they're taking PPEs, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that has to do with. I'm not sure what that is. I gotta look it up, but it has something to do with some kind of treatment they're giving them. I don't know if it's bedpans. I don't know. But he said that PPEs will go from one room to the next, where one patient has corona, one doesn't, and they never even wash them. They never change them. So now you take all those factors together. He said, and then she said, and the staff was completely indifferent, right? They weren't even taking it seriously. They'd gotten so used to death. They said that the freezers are overflowing with bodies, but in reality, they're tapping these people out. You got people that are there to die, and they've been given the green light to go ahead and let them. So, this is the other thing, which is also criminal. They're not charting, right? So when you go in a room, every time someone comes in to check on a patient, you're supposed to check off vital signs, statistics, things like that, right? And you chart it. That way you know how they're responding to the treatment.
Right.
They're not even charting. They're just chalking it up to it's the pandemic.
How criminal that is.
It is absolutely criminal. So now that's what's happening, right? So why what should people be concerned about? Not the coronavirus, the fact that you're being infiltrated by the Fuhrer, man. I mean, it's a fascist regime right now, and people in the hospitals, they're just kind of ignorantly buying into it, right? Like, oh yeah, it's easy, day off. Like, oh, we're overworked. Because you probably got what they did, what they're doing, right? You're taking a third of the staff and they're overworking them,
right?
And then the other 2/3 are at home. They're on furlough, whatever. And then on the medical billing side, they're billing it all back to FEMA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the current. So if you get sick in New York, I would say please do not go to the hospital, because who knows? You get sick with anything. I mean, you get a flu,
you got a hangnail,
or whatever. Yeah, like, don't go to the hospital. Do not go to the hospital. It's not a place for recovery right now. Not that it necessarily ever was, but definitely not now.
Yeah, they're looking for body count. That's what you're going. And you go there, you might be just the body count.
Yep.
Well, I think. Well, the good thing is that it looks like it's coming to the end anyway. So this is over. They know that they can't keep this running anymore, and now they're just looking for, like, what's the next thing that they can go after Trump on. I did one of the other side things. Remember, we're in an election season, and Biden doesn't want to debate Trump because of the coronavirus. So this is going to be funny, because the FDA is going to come out. Well, here's the cure. What's Biden's excuse going to be?
I'll say this: anybody remotely concerned about the coronavirus, still are in that space. I'm begging you. I'm going to put this video out tonight, overnight, from Sherry Edwards. Share it with everybody you know. She breaks this down so tight, like I haven't heard anybody else do it. She gives real solutions. People are talking about the fever breaking, about the symptoms going away. She explains how to beat it, and she gives you the tools for free. Awesome. It could literally be the mechanism to completely disrupt the cabal. That's how powerful that is.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm gonna put that up in a little bit. Yep.
Well,
but
I would say I did see that there's a lot of, like, conversation about Fauci being indicted, where there's a sealed indictment on him. I don't know if you've heard about that. Thought that was interesting. That if they're going to start taking him out as well. I mean, if Trump exposes this as a complete fraud, it was perpetrated by the press, by the deep state, as a way to unseat him and to cause economic ruin across the world.
Yep.
Is this a good political situation going into the election time? Is this something to be brought up now, or is it to be brought up after the election? Because we're at this point where we're getting 7 months out. Is this the narrative you start? Right? You take out Obama. I can see something like that starting a court case. It was treason. They spied on his campaign. That's treasonous. People say, "Yep, that's treasonous," and he should go down for it. Now, regardless of the rest of the evil, right? That's there, right? This is the small red pill that people can absorb at this point. Which would be shocking, but would it also be just as shocking, because QAnon says, it's going to shock the world. Is it that Fauci gets indicted, or is it Obama? Just a curiosity, because if there's something that's going to shock the world, we have, Obama would definitely be shocking, but it also could be Fauci, and then because now I forgot the other guy's name, the other doctor, he was basically coming down on barter, Dr. Barker. He was saying that he was committing illegal acts because he was told to stop creating this kind of a virus. Right? That's what Fauci was doing. He was creating coronaviruses with these other things, and we put a moratorium on it in the United States. So he moved it to China and got it funded under the Obama administration. All right.
Wow.
So, is that just as shocking? Is that what's going to shock the world? Is Fauci being indicted? Because that would shock people.
Well, that would be pretty shocking, meaning that his responsibility was to protect the people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's his job, right? He's supposed to, not to perpetuate disease, but to control it, right? I mean, that's.
So Fauci also started 4 startups in February.
What are they?
For vaccines, for studies.
Oh, he started up 4 vaccine studies, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But these are all, if they prove out, then there's the reason to go ahead and take this and make a vaccine. So the question is, are the vaccines actually, is this going to be beneficial or not? And then you got to do the testing. Well, they'll rush it through. Is the idea they're going to try and push it through? All right.
Yeah.
Before we have before fall, before the elections, we've got to, get everyone the vaccine with the nanites, and then we can tell you through 5G who to vote for.
Tell you what to think, and then go from there.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a lot going down, man. I really I'm looking for reasons to be encouraged by, the conduct here of any of these guys. I really am. But so far, so I'm trying my best to really embrace, the plan, right? The plan. Right? We're supposed to be watching it come together, and I don't know. I still feel like it still seems like pretty strong on the side of the cabal's plan to me. It still seems like we're kind of subject to their narrative. Now I keep hearing about how they don't have money, but yet they still do stuff.
Right.
I keep hearing about how they don't have they're beat up. Now don't get me wrong, I believe that too. So I'm not trying to cast doubt. I know that. See, the only person in like the only team I can count on is our own team, right? So, I trust Kim. I trust Kim and what she's done, and I know that she's done it. I've seen it with my own eyes, though, right? Like I've been directly involved with transactions that cleared the account, where the banker is telling me the money has cleared, right? Where I know for a fact it's there. Right? And then suddenly some magical thing happens. Right? I've been working with banks where everybody in the bank is so thrilled that we're going to be bringing in money for humanitarian projects, and all of a sudden the FBI kicks down the door. The fake FBI kicks down the door and takes over, and all of a sudden no one will even return our calls instantaneously while the transfer is taking place. Right? I've seen that happen. I've watched how all these different, many different guys of these major trustees, show up and I'm the signer on this trust, that trust. I'm the king of, blah blah blah. And I've watched them all sit there and be on the phone with Kim, and they go from real tough, real important to wow, you're amazing. Like by the end of the call, or that's not true. You need my signature, and Kim's like, I don't need your signature. So I've watched this happen. I've had calls with the 5-Star Trust and the Chinese elders, the central bank in China, and again, they're given terms that they try to manipulate, and they can't adhere to the terms. So so Kim, I know she's real, right? firsthand. I've seen it repeatedly. Watch it. Everybody else, it just seems like they're spinning some web of lies all the time, right? And trying to come up with their justification for, so that they can get one over on us, right?
Yeah.
Kim has never even asked anybody for any money. She's like, look, there's a 2% admin fee. It's standard. It's been that way for 100 years, right? These guys used to take that, and then they turn around, they invest in everything, steal money from everybody in different ways, right? She's never once asked for that. She asked them to pay back the 2% administration fee, and she's been very transparent and saying, and she would take that money and turn right back around and get that money to the people. So why is it that they're blocking it? Because they don't want the people to have money. Now, who's included in that? Everybody. Every one of these government officials who's letting it go on, every bank that is signing off on this, everyone who continues to do nothing while in the hospitals, in the same place, people are being killed off, right? Because they're not worthy, right? We have orders that are given out from the government to say if a kid comes in that has Down syndrome or has autism, that don't resuscitate them if they come in sick. If the elderly go down, don't resuscitate them. This is what's being said. They're basically putting a value on life and saying, no, you don't deserve to live, right? It is eugenics, and it is obvious. It's not even, these are like government orders going out.
Yeah. Well,
right? From the state. I don't think federally, but.
Well, if you just, a lot of the videos being put together talking about Gates, that his family is, part of the eugenics movement, right? To basically eliminate all the other races. And there's tell that this particular coronavirus is having a very bad side effect on northern Chinese, right? So, was it China? Were they kind of blindsided because maybe that people didn't realize that they were going to release this virus was going to go across, or they didn't care it was going to kill a bunch of their population because they're overpopulated in their mind, right? That's too many people for the CCP to control, right? So they don't need to have so many people. They've been all concerned with reducing their population. And of course, now that there's been some things that they don't have enough population. That they have a big problem. Same as in India, they both end up in the same problem because they start aborting female children. So then they have too big of a population of males, which means there's not enough females. I think that there's a natural balance that's slightly more males than females. Slightly, it's like 50.4% male. It's like a natural balance because males die more, right? Because of being in conflict. So that's like a natural balance. But now they start aborting females, and then there's 51% males, and that means there's a lot less females. So they have also a problem keeping their population, from dramatically decreasing. Where they could literally in a generation lose a big portion of their, and that means they don't have enough to keep their economy growing. So they try to tinker around with nature, and they end up, there's no abundance in that, right? That they went off after a death culture. They created a culture of death, and the result is death. and it's the death of their economy as well.
Yeah, as it would turn out, right?
As it would turn out.
That's what happens.
The unintended consequences is, well, if you don't have people growing, you don't have people buying your new goods. You can't expand your economy. You can't be abundant.
Yep. It's just the whole thing is insane.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Like, are we really this far gone with everything? We can't do better than this. And then, as the people, like, just like you and everybody else listening, right? Like, we represent the people, right? However you see it to be, no, all of us represent the people, right? We represent our people, our family, our lineage, our experiences. We are, not just who we are as an individual, but all the people that had to live and die for us to come into existence, right? Like, we represent other people. It's just inevitable, right? We carry that burden, that weight, that, however you see it to be, right? So now, because we all represent the collective in that way, what are the options, right? So, I truly believe that, the best option I've seen so far is the assembly, right? But the assembly takes work and time, right? It's going to take time to really, be something that's legitimate, right? To be something that everyone is like, wow, that is really the way the government's supposed to be. We all participate, right? That's going to take something. But in the meantime, I'm like, I can appreciate the frustration that a lot of folks would feel. To how do you in the meantime, what do you do, right? What do you do now? And I think, I guess still it's the assembly, right? It's like, my God, like there's no force besides Kim in the whole world who is acting and considers, like, what are the karmic consequences? There's not a single person in power with a real conscience who's like, for the love of God, get off your ass and get this money to those people, get them the hell out of their houses, stop putting out false information, stop poisoning the water or air, and get them so we can see what they can do and who humanity is. And the main reason why I want you to do that is because I'm one of them too, right? Where the hell are those people? Nobody? None of you jackasses has thought of that yet? Like, what do they think they are?
They don't know they need to get going. And that's just it. That's it. It's that people just, it's like I said, people that are so caught up in trying to stand up against the system. They're always trying to learn more how the best way to do it. And then when the ones that do make the stand, the ones that do find their way to say, okay, I've got it, I'm now making my stand, they are successful to a certain extent, right? They're able to do something. The court goes their way, right? And the problem is that after that technique is now reproduced by others, the deep state figures out their way to handle that, right? So it only works for a period of time till they figure out a way around it, and then they come back and they throw these people in jail. So this is this constant beating down of the people, gets people a little gun shy, right? To go out and make a stand again. But this is not like any other time. The world is shut down. The world is shut down. That here in the Philippines, they just extended this quarantine period another 2 weeks. So it actually is now to the end of May.
Here in New York, basically in New York State, which is like the New York State Penitentiary at this point. It's basically like the quarantine's been extended indefinitely until basically Cuomo is eliminated, exposed, or he feels like it, basically, right? Until he's exalted to the head position of Fuhrer, and this, which is basically like you're witnessing all these things. Like this case I brought up, this 87-page case that was brought out like 3 weeks ago. I just got it today, but and it's in depth of how the 5G, the AI, Corona, how this is all, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, all these different characters are all directly involved. It's an extensive case. Nobody's really biting on it, right? No one's really getting excited about it or backing it up. But I'll tell you what, I'm very much about it. I'm very much about bringing this to the National Assembly, to the state assemblies, and bringing this up and saying, why are we not talking about these crimes which have been committed against humanity? You know, and that is going to require human interaction. It's going to take humanity to be, and I'll tell you what, it's twofold. If there's a real universal council, then there should be some way to empower people, right? Not just one person, but people to be able to say enough. And there should be a way to take people out that are trying to destroy less than 1% of the population is trying to kill everybody else. Right? There should be a way. And there should be some kind of support on an intergalactic level, being that it's due to their negligence that this happened in the first place. Because this is not the plan, right? If we all agreed to come into these bodies, go through an experience, what we did not agree to is to have our entire memory and identity wiped. To have our DNA manipulated so bad that we don't even know who we are. To have us divided amongst each other, not even realizing that there are other species or races of anything else. To have all that taken from us and then bring us to the brink of annihilation because we didn't, ascend or whatever it is. That is just sadistic. That is such a hateful and negligent practice. And that is what is taking place. And then for everyone to still be sitting back, just because the innate nature of people is just so kind, so anti-conflict, right? And most people are still like, we forgive you. Like, hey man, just trust the plan. They would tell me, but what the hell are we talking? What plan? The plan had us slaved and being raped and fed to dogs. I mean, this was the plan we're trusting? No, don't trust the plan. Come up with a better plan.
Okay.
The only person who had a plan that is worth trusting is the restoration plan, and that's just hell. Wasn't anybody out there that existed. Now maybe Tesla, had the secret plan. But I'll tell you what, everything that I see, sure, there's no indication of that plan being in place. Because even now, what's happening?
I've got something.
This is going according to the plan.
I got something to share with you. I got something to share with you here.
Sure.
You got it?
You showing the babies again?
Yeah, I'm showing you the babies again. Yes. Trust the plan.
Oh my. One, I'm not looking for Q to do anything at all. So that's not true. So what more accurately what that should look like is you sitting back, not you, but everybody sitting back waiting. And I'm like, no, I'm doing. Yeah. Like, I'm not even trying their plan. Like, I look at this and I'm just like, what are we talking about? Trust the plan. How long do we, to me, I can't fathom the idea of sitting there while I watch someone get hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they're learning a lesson, right? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, no
more lessons. I'm done with the lessons.
No. People have learned more than enough. People have learned more than enough lessons. They've been through more than enough. It's time to release those who think that they are above the rest of us, and let them go be above. Let them go be in source and be repurposed into furniture or whatever the hell they're supposed to do, right? But they can't be here anymore. They can't be in positions of power. And so I just look at that. I just think it's a, to be honest, pulling the assemblies together and pressing forward, that's going to happen no matter what. That's going to happen. Doing it as the last course of defense, right, is like, my God, if we don't do this, like that extra pressure is a lot. It's a lot to put on people, because it's like, wow, all the other options that could have happened, and then I've heard people blame people. It's like, well, people, they had a choice, right? Yeah, here's their choice, right? You create a fake, here's a perfect example. You create a fake pandemic. You lied to them about what a virus even is. We didn't even know what a virus was until this thing started happening, right? Like, you lie to them about what a virus is. Then they get sick. They don't know what is going on. They don't know the science anymore. Nobody knows how it works. You go to the hospital, and what do? You have a doctor. The doctor, the one person he is a healer, right? We know that. The doctor says, here, just sign this form here so we can put you on a ventilator, right? And the doctor's so overwhelmed because why? Because half the doctors are furloughed, right? They're not even in the hospital.
Yeah.
So now you have a choice. The coronavirus could kill you. I mean, because you can see how these conversations might go, right? How the doctor might be like, well, the coronavirus could potentially kill you. That is what we're seeing. We currently have a freezer filled with bodies. It's terrifying. You're probably going to have corona, although we're not testing you, but you are showing the symptoms. Did you want to sign the paper so that we have your consent to put you on a ventilator? And then, oh, by the way, we're not telling you the part where that'll probably fast track your death. And we're going to put you on a sedative, knock you out. You're going to lay in this bed, and even when you die, you won't even see your family because we don't let any of your family into the hospital. They can't even see you. You'll just be dead, and we don't even have to explain it because we're not even charting your experience. We'll just tell them he died from the coronavirus. Our bad.
Well, it sounds like a death mill.
Right, so you basically have a choice, right, based on you can only make choices if you're informed. That's why informed consent is such an important issue. If all you are informed of is, you have the option of death or sign here. I mean, everyone's going to fight for their life. For these are my options. Those are not real options. You're not being honest. You're not giving people the real choice of what's on the table. And that is what I think makes me the most mad, is that is still going on.
Yeah.
Based on people who think that they can make decisions not in the best interest of that individual, but of all humanity. They know best. And to be honest, the fact that the plan is still so secretive and all these different things, I think it still sounds like the same thing to me. To me. Yeah.
It's not secretive. It's right all laid out there in a puzzle.
Yeah. Right.
It's in a puzzle form.
In a puzzle that's from the unknown from the unknown enemy. Oh, from the unknown ally, right? From the invisible ally or the invisible enemies.
The invisible enemy, yeah. Well, I think it's known. There's another, more cube proofs coming out, right? So it's showing, and he's also saying that we're way beyond cube proofs now, right? But they're still being presented. I don't know about a Q flag flying over the White House. That would have been maybe they should do that. Swap out the POW flag and put up the Q flag. That would be quite a statement.
Isn't like the real flag like reverse colors though? Isn't it like?
I keep seeing that. I don't know. I don't know that part of it. I've never. That was something that's recent. And a lot of the things that I know, that are coming about and people get more informed with, I've known for a long time, but this reverse color flag thing, that's new. I don't know what that is,
Yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, it's like where the blue is, it's white and the stars are blue, and then it's red and white. I mean, maybe it's red and white. I don't know. But whatever it is,
yeah.
Or maybe whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's kind of like it's like. I mean, because look, this is classic what they do to us, right? They get us all like hung up, man. I'm sure there's been court cases fighting the yellow fringe on the bottom of the flag, right? I'm sure, but I can guarantee you that 90% of the courts have no freaking clue about that, right? They're not like, putting the flag up with the yellow fringe because we're in the cabal. Like, they're not doing that, right? They got a flag, they put it up, right? So, but whole thing. But imagine if the whole flag is different. If the whole flag is different, right? Wouldn't that be a much easier indicator, right? But no one's even pursuing that, right? To have the flag changed out to the peacetime flag, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
That would be good. But if I could imagine if I ever got into office, right? Okay, so I run for office, became a congressman, a senator, a governor, whatever, right? Get into the office, go on YouTube and start talking with the people. I just get out some little tweezers and put on some little glasses, and I'd pull down the flag and I'd just start, while talking, just taking out the threads along that gold fringe, right, and removing the gold fringe. I wouldn't say anything else, right, about it. I would just do that,
That would be the greatest presidential moment in history. I would love that. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is the president doing? President Lutz now apparently is going to do some crafts. You know?
So yeah, that's it. You know, I'm just doing a little sewing here. Little taking out some threads. Don't mind this. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about getting some people going with some funds that are grants for you to start your own businesses. And keep taking out the threads.
It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? I mean, hey, let's talk about people doing, right? Instead of just repeating the same garbage.
Now, of course,
So,
this
anyways,
would be Q would be there, giving the Q proof to me unthreading the fringe, right? Because I'm not
Right.
saying what I'm doing; I'm just showing, right? While I'm talking about other things, so it's still secret.
Right, as reported. So,
Okay, well, good place to break.
Yep.
Let's come back tomorrow, see where we stand. The weekend is coming to a close, and see what this next week will bring us. So, all right, everyone, see you. Be sure to subscribe.
all right.
Give a like.
Have a great night, Dan. Appreciate you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.